Welcome back to the table. I have an interesting challenge for you today. I want you to consider, at least for a while, exiting the system. Let's talk about it. When I talk about exiting the system, what am I talking about? It's talking about your career, your work life. I want you to get outside the system. Here's what I've learned after being out of work for over 6 months. The system, you come to believe in the system that you're living in, the ecosystem that's around you, the marketing system that you live in. You have to get away from it to understand the system itself. So let me give you a couple of quick examples here. When I exited work, I did not expect that it was going to be something that was so eye-opening to see that the marketing messages that I had been helping perpetrate, really, I had been repeating them, I was parroting them. They weren't something that I actually considered a priority in my life. I was just living in them so often and talking about them so often. They became part of who I was. It's not that I wasn't excited about the technology or the project or the product. It literally is just constantly on my mind because it's the system I was living in. I was used to going to work at a certain time every day, getting up at a certain time every day, buying certain products at the grocery store, looking at certain websites over and over, letting the algorithm show me things that were interesting to me based on the marketing messages I was living in. How in the world do you get out of something like that? It's not that easy. Can we all really afford to exit the system for a while to look at that? Well, let me give you a couple of thoughts on that. First of all, it didn't take more than 30 days for my eyes to fully open. In fact, it was just past the 2 week mark. Now, why does that matter? Well, the reality is 2 weeks is the average vacation time. That's the max that most of you will get. The average vacation we take is more like a week, right? When we take a good vacation for the year. If you are lucky enough to have a lot of vacation time, you might take a 2 weeker. The reality is your eyes don't fully open until you're out past that. It's the third or fourth week where all of a sudden you say, wait a minute. Your body, your mind starts to relax. And so I want to encourage you, if you consider taking another job, to exit the system for a while. Take that gap. Do not bunch it together. As tempting as it may be, as much as you may need the income, take a month off. Quit on the first of the month so that if you're getting health care from your job, it continues through the month. Start on the first of the next month. Exit the system. Look at the system for what it is. Free your mind for a while. Here's why it matters. There's so many reasons right now. For us, this has been highly, highly eye-opening and very important to where we are going next and how we're getting there. See, the world's an interesting place right now. I don't have to tell you. You can turn on the news and see that for yourself. What it does mean is that the lens through which you view it can change. If you don't feel like the mainstream media is somehow tilted in one direction or another, you're in the system. If you feel that your point of view is the only one that matters, or that you are obviously right, you're part of the system. See, the algorithms, the constant messaging that we receive, it mirrors what we pause on, what we look at, what we read, what we watch. It's all together. So what does it mean for you? If the algorithm knows who you are and your information is out there, think of all the scam attempts that are happening right now. You will be a target based on who the system thinks you are. There's problem one. Problem two is we're in a constant state of change, aren't we? AI is accelerating the world. It's changing the way that threats come in, the way that scams come in, the way that the phone number looks when you pick it up and it looks like a number you know. It's your bank, it's your insurance company, but it's not. It's a time where being outside the system allows us to reframe our mind and think a little differently about who'd be calling us and why. It raises your awareness threshold. I also want you to think about the systemic lock-in. Are you part of a system that won't let you out? What does that mean? Are you in a system where you make just enough money that you can't get out of it? You need that income. You're locked in to your current system. There's no way for you to escape it without getting outside the system, seeing your worth for what it is, and going a new direction. If you feel like you're locked in, now's the time to consider exiting the system. See, we're in an interesting time in history. Hopefully, by now, you've heard of a book called The Fourth Turning. The structure of the book is fairly simple. It basically says every fourth generation, there is a significant change. And those fourth turnings, those after the fourth generation comes online, we start to see some significant turmoil in the world. I'm a big fan of cycles. I believe that if you invest properly on a 7-year cycle, there's a great chance that you can come out the other side with a lot of money. I believe in the 7-year cycle. I believe in a 50-year debt cycle. When you look back through history and you start to run the calendar back, what you see is every 7 years there's some sort of financial event. And every 50 years there's some sort of a debt-based event. This isn't something I made up. It's something that I read about, and I actually did some research on my own and found that it rings true. This is now the fourth turning. We have coincident debt cycles. We have coincident 7-year cycles. And we have a coincident fourth generational cycle. Historically, what that means is the systems are breaking. This is the most important reason I want you to exit the system at some point and just pay attention. Current events are driven by anger. They're driven by protest. One event can set off a multitude of other events, risks, etc. The system is fracturing a bit because we're in a fourth turning. So what does it mean for you to start looking not only at the educational system, not only at the financial system, not only at the way that the businesses are run or the way that large corporations are run. No, step back from the whole thing. Look at the political spectrum. Look at the system at large, how it's put together, and think through what it means for you. Think through what it means to be outside the system. Now, I'm not saying that this is the time to go and go off grid or something like that. But what I am saying is that for the good of society, for the good of who we are within society, for the good of the nation and the world, it's an important time for us to start thinking about what the system is and what is our role in it. What are the things that work? What are the things that don't work? And how do we make this system benefit us? Now, I've been outside the system for a while, and it's opened my eyes from the perspective of my employment, from the perspective of my healthcare plan, from the perspective of the political division that continues to grow and be manipulated by everyone around us. Don't believe what you see on social media. If you're believing it all without doing your own checks, you will be a part of the system that manipulates you. This is not some conspiracy theory. That's not what I'm about at all. What it is about is having your eyes fully open to what's happening around you and not allowing yourself to be manipulated by that system, that algorithm, that approach that you've been a part of for so many years that you may not even see it. I didn't. There were things being manipulated in my mind that I did not see that have been slowly uncovered for months now. And I continue to learn more about how the system works, where my fit is, and why. As we go forward from here, AI is only going to accelerate this. We've got fake content flooding YouTube. We've got fake content being developed all the time on social media. What's real? Well, besides me sitting here. Some of the channels I've watched have pivoted to an AI-based format. They're simply a bunch of images and an AI reading the transcript in the background. That's something that at least can still have value if the person behind it is sharing their stories, their opinions, their knowledge with you. But what I am concerned about is for those of us who are locked in the system yet, from a career perspective, from a political perspective, from any perspective, if the system has you, break the hold that it has. And your best opportunity to do that is to get out of it for 30 days and then go back into it. Because as soon as you realize that what you've been told may not hold water, it's a good day. It helps you see the world in a different way. I'll give you one last example. Currency devaluation. If you look right now at the monies around the world, but especially the US dollar, you'll see that it is dropping in value. Other things are going up dramatically. It's not that a house is that much more expensive necessarily, it's that the dollar's worth that much less. What does that mean for you? What system were you brought up in? What were you told about the housing market that's stuck in your head that systemically you need to get away from? Step back, look at it and say, that's not how it works anymore. Here's how I'm going to get there. Here's how I'm going to get to home ownership. Here's how I'm going to get to the place where it benefits my family. It's not an easy thing. There's no one size fits all here, but I want to encourage you, if you can get outside the system for a bit, do it. It will benefit your mind. It'll benefit your life. And quite honestly, looking forward, it may just give you the edge you need for the next leg of life. It's a heavy topic. I don't bring this all up lightly, but it is something that I've been going through and it's something that I've been learning from. And I really wanted to share this with you today. Maybe it's time to exit the system for a bit. Step back, look at it, and find a new approach that benefits you. Till next time, thanks for joining me.